I think I mentioned it when we were looking at the time for the movie. We're like, wow, that's pretty long for an anime movie. 2 hours.
2.5. This sucker's 2.5 hours long.
Oh,
people.
and that's because half the movie.
Half the movie is this guy's back story. What's up, people? Welcome to Otaku, SoCal's anime and pop culture podcast. I'm your host this morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time I'm being, the time you're listening to this podcast, Ray, aka Sourdough Shonen. And today, folks, we are bringing you the hottest, biggest anime news this week on the podcast because Demon Slayer Infinite Castle has begun releasing out here in America. And we were good podcast hosts and decided let's go ahead and watch it in theaters and give a little thoughts and opinions about part one of this 3-part series that'll be slowly coming out in the years to come our way. Time is passing, all that jazz. But anyway, with smooth transition, of course, is now introduced my time of the podcast where I introduce other people on this podcast. And it's versus mode unlocked today on Taku Podcast because it's just me and Miles.
Hi everyone. It's Miles again, here to bring you horsies.
He's still with the horses.
Yay.
You scared Andy off from last week. Frank refuses to come back.
Let's moment here. Poor Andy. I was shout out to poor Andy. Poor Andy tried his best to understand numbers and and see running and stats.
You see, it's like Persona and it's like Princess Maker. And it's also like all these other games that you've never played. So this is definitely helping.
And he's like, okay, cool. I was like, write this down.
And goes in one ear and not the other. And I can't blame him.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear reference. That's when he perked up again.
Yeah.
Either way, we love Metal Gear, and we love anime, and we love everything else geeky pop culture here on this podcast. And as normal as we usually do on this podcast, we do every... I won't say every week, but that's just... I keep lying. It's every other week. It just feels like... Despite we have a week off, it feels like it's never off. We're always working, hustling.
Don't worry. We're always here for you 24/7.
Exactly. And that's why you should go like, subscribe on all your favorite podcast listening apps, like Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, and the various podcast catchers out there. That's where you should go. Make sure you smash that button today. That way you don't miss our future. Well, it's a few years from, but assuming this podcast is still happening, which hopefully it is, fingers crossed. Part 2 of Infinite Castle, along with Part 3. But more importantly, and a little bit more sooner than a couple years from now, our next podcast episode will be our summer anime review season. So if you want to see what you missed out this season, you're waiting, you want to Netflix binge your way because after every anime season, that's when you strike, like I usually do. We're gonna have some recommendations, hopefully coming your way. So make sure hit that subscribe button. But before it's already too late. I've already chilled. After that chilling,
chill some more.
We'll do it. Don't worry. We will have commercial breaks this time on the podcast. Even though editor Ray might have forgot that last episode because he was getting a little close to the wire, and he just determined to make sure the podcast came out on time.
Everyone, please hit editor Ray. Editor Ray does a lot of work for this thing.
It was a long conversation last episode, but hopefully this week will be a little bit easier since there's only 2 of us and less losing poor Andy talking about anime nonsense. But yes, this is the time of the podcast where we're going to talk about our weeks, what we've been up to, watching and playing since then. And brother, see, there it is, another Metal Gear reference.
Metal Gear reference. Are we going to put a little counter and we mentioned some video.
Well,
we'll have a Metal Gear references and it checks up. Bleep, 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 bleep.
Just every 2 seconds. But what you been up to, Miles? Tell us.
Well, we're back. We're back on the trail, everybody. That's right. We're doing some more Umamusume once again on the podcast. The thing that does not quit itself.
So when are we gonna have to change it to the Umamusume podcast?
Next episode.
I'm gonna have to open a Patreon page just to keep your funding going, brother.
Actually, I'll take any folks. I'll just take $20 just for a quick pull.
Just a freebie.
As more as you play this game, you realize that as much as pulling for the characters sounds fun, you need to really pull for support cards.
Well,
you need to support yourself. It is crazy that I guess it's accelerated the banners compared to other games. So like every week's a new one, out to another one, out to a new one. So it's like it's hard to keep track of everything because like
how long is it supposed to be, or normally for you? Since I only know this game.
Well, usually most banners usually last for like 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
But this like it's tough when you say, especially when the the gacha pull rate for this is like it's pretty.
I mean, they're all bad. Let's get that.
No.
Okay, this guy's okay.
And it was just that in this game, like you had any 200 pulls to get anything out of
You
that?
mean that's after you're talking about
Gacha rates.
you're not even talking about gacha. You're talking about like the credit after you dumped all your money. The pity credits they give you.
Yeah, the pity credits.
When no one wants to. No one's expecting the pity credits.
I live pity credits.
That's so sad.
I was born with the pity credits.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Because let me tell you, folks, it's hard out there when like you're at like 90 pulls and you get one more hit and you get the wrong character and you go like and you had like you realize right then and there that's another $80 into the pot you have to do to get the character. Or like me, you go, well, that didn't work out the way in my favor. I'll wait your rerun and call it a day. I don't know. It is, but the main point here is you want to focus on support cards at the end of the day.
This is true. I've been telling you this since week one, brother.
I know week one. I know.
You didn't want to listen to me. You wanted your wedding dresses.
I actually got both of them. Actually,
there you go. Mm-hmm.
By accident.
So many carrots. What do I do with them all?
But I learned my lesson. I only have one special pack left. We were gonna save that for third character or cards or something like that. I'm not good enough in games to get most of my horses at least a B or at least finish like their storyline at least.
You can finish the career path finally, brother.
Yeah.
Enough time and money's finally been dumped for you to be decent at it.
Yeah, or I learned like how like sometimes you don't have to get the rainbows right. You just like I need to focus on other stats instead. Kind of balance, not once it balance out, but you kind of know how certain horses, certain races work. So you're like, I don't need to have like you mentioned before about guts. Don't worry about guts.
No one cares about guts.
I know I use raise my wit a lot now these days because without my horse would be a dumb and just
skills won't activate.
Yeah, it's like I guess I didn't, or else to get rushed.
That's just luck there.
Yeah.
That you can't control.
Or sorry, not rush. Late start.
I mean, it's the same effect.
Yeah, and this whole game is based on luck, isn't it?
Well, it's almost like it's a fucking gotcha game.
But like, even like the ring in this goofy thing is a little all over the place, isn't it?
They got cameras? What? Ring?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's
today's sponsor, Amazon.
Yeah, coming to get from my wallet. Anyway,
if you give Miles more pulls, Jeff, let's talk.
Yeah.
Kindle Unlimited.
All the Amazon Prime
/ Miles.
Yeah, / promo Miles.
Miles Ponies / Miles Ponies.
Miles Ponies. That's a terrible segment I'm going to put in this podcast. Miles Ponies. But other than that, there are a lot of new storyline site. I played so far. I did play Do Super Creeks.
How's your mommy?
I don't know. Part of I don't know. A lot of questions are raised, and then I have to like go like, you have to go like out to like to the woods, so that I kind of like have
go out to the woods.
No, I have like deep conversations with yourself, like.
All right, is that all we're doing out in the deep woods by ourselves?
I don't know. It's like I know people have fun, right? But no, seriously though, that she really wants to like to coddle you and things like that. It's like
Goo gaga.
I guess we're doing it. I guess we're doing it. So that was interesting. They also I guess I got Mario Kinski. I don't know if you got her or not.
Oh, I did unlock her. I haven't played her storyline yet.
Yeah, she basically just like plays like an older character than all the other ones. I have
plays like an older character.
Well, like you youngins, all like a lot like
Oh, she's like the senior.
The senior, I guess.
Okay.
The way how she speaks and things like that.
Well, it's kind of like Air Groove, kind of.
And she drives a car.
That's all I know about because the few times I see her pop up in storylines, it's just like I have a car. I'm like, okay, that's great.
And she really likes her car.
Yeah.
She takes care of her car.
Well, when you it looks like a very high-end European Ferrari of some sort.
Yeah.
You're gonna how a horse girl who's in high school, let's say in college, has money for a Ferrari. I don't know. I mean, money at the racetrack, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Amazon promotions, maybe.
Yeah, promotion. But that was interesting. And I know we're trying to do better runs. Like once you get like the whole parenting system.
The what system?
The sparks. How to get sparks. I kind of have a better handle on how to do that now. So I got
fucking get lucky.
Unless you get 600 points and above, you have a good shot. That's what I learned.
That has not been my case.
Oh no.
I've had characters that like almost like B plus A rankings, and like 1 star, 2, and like it's always like the most useless skills that no one would ever want to pass down.
Yeah. So apparently, I guess you want to get like their their skills,
Well,
and then
yeah.
pass it around. Because I got one. I got
Pass it around is like a drug. Pass it around, kids.
the genetics. Like,
Let me get that triumph pulse or whatever that move is called.
well, it's like I think one time I got like nice nature. I gave her like a bunch of like everyone else's like special abilities, so she's like,
Oh, so now she can actually run.
yeah. Oh, that's cool.
This is becoming wildly inside baseball, where everyone is turn off. By the way, folks, there's timestamps down below if you just want to get to Demon Slayer.
All right. Sorry. But hopefully, when we have next week when we do our 2 weeks from now, we do our previews. I have more to talk about.
You mean reviews?
Reviews. Sorry.
Poor Miles, he's really out of date. What is a preview? Fuck. Too much horse girl games.
Yeah, too much.
He's really out of it. All right, with that, I guess now I get to take over as Miles drops the baton and falls and trips and kicks it away. And then here comes the horse girl to pick it up and kick it again.
Yeah.
Now it's up to me. And the sad part, I don't have much better news for you folks. I'll be honest. Did I mention this timestamps down below?
Yeah. We're very busy, folks. We tried our best.
So for me this week, the one thing that qualifies for what we normally talk about on this podcast, being anime video game focus overall, is Donkey Kong Bananza.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about it for the last few episodes, but I haven't really got to dive into it. But finally, this past week or two, I made the time and dedication to focus back on the game because I want to wrap it up and get to my back catalog of video games because, yikes, it's really bad this year, let me tell you. But Donkey Kong Bonanza, I don't get it. Or I get it, but I don't care? Maybe is the better way I should say it.
I did manage to play because there was a demo I think it came out when they announced DLC last week during Nintendo stuff. I did play like because it gives like the first 30 minutes of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see what your standpoint because a lot of it is, hey, look, here's a big world map. Dig around and see what you can find. Pretty much.
Yeah, that's basically the gameplay. I guess here's the thing: is it's funny because I kind of got back and forth from the game. When they first showed that game the first time around,
Yeah.
I was like, it looks okay.
Right.
And then they showed the second time around with Pauline. I was thinking like, oh, it's gonna be more like a Banjo-Kazooie situation.
Right.
It's gonna be cheeky writing, funny little things here and there, a lot of interaction, right?
Yeah.
And that happened when you first meet her, and you see that, which they showed during I think the E3 equivalent or whatever the last Nintendo event of last year when they showed off that gameplay.
Yeah.
And the downside is after that first interaction, it's not a thing really at all in the game. Frank's already talked about this before, and I guess I was hoping for more of this kind of stuff like this, but this is all it is when it comes to the story character interaction. Is when you fall asleep to recover your health, Pauline will just talk to herself basically, or talk to you / Donkey Kong and be like, Donkey Kong, it's so cold in this area. I wish I brought an extra thick coat of jacket. But you're so warm, Donkey Kong DK. Everything's gonna be all right. Nighty night, DK, and that's it.
Yeah.
But like, there's no grunts or noises for him, no animations from him. It's all just becomes a black screen and a little voiceover stuff. So it just feels very cheap, I guess.
Or very basic, maybe. Nothing that you expect for a game in which is like, because I think it's like the Odyssey team, right?
Yeah, it's the Odyssey team. It's got. Well, I mean, this is supposed to be the big Nintendo game right now for their lineup. Yeah, they had the Nintendo Direct and they got other games. But right now, between now and official, holiday season kicks off, right? So story character stuff, it's very by the numbers. Like, oh no, there's an evil monkey and you have to dig deeper into the world to fix them, I guess, and find the bananas.
Right.
Because more bananas you find, more skill points you unlock, and more abilities you unlock, right?
Yeah.
The downside is the game is very easy. Very, and I think even Frank already teased about that. And it has not really gotten much harder since the opening chapters of this game. And I just find it not interesting or compelling to keep, I'm looking forward to my next session of Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm just like, all right, I said I was going to finish this. Here we go. And I'm kind of just like, kind of forcing myself a little bit to keep finishing it when I'm thinking like, I bet you there's another game out there I could be playing right now that I probably might be having more fun with. But I spent the time and money and I'm determined to finish what I start. So that's my big reason I keep playing it, which kind of sucks because I've seen a lot of good things or I've heard through the grapevine, the internet grapevine, right, of 9s and 10s this game has been getting. At best for me, this game's like a 7. On a great, great day and I won the lottery, an 8. But 9s and 10s, I don't get it. I don't see it. But like I said, the thing is, I'm also not because I feel like people who are maybe Minecraft people,
Uh-huh.
this might be more for them because you're like constantly digging and looking for those fossils and those little health items and the
Wow.
gold pieces. But like, there's really no like, you don't really like, you have all this gold, but you don't really do much with it. Yeah, you get like a little bridge they'll build you, but it's like 100. You'll find like 1,000 gold, no problem. And you're like, okay, here's 1,000 gold. And be like, well, okay, here's a cannon to get to the next area. It's 100 gold. All right, what am I gonna do with 900 gold?
Yeah.
And you just keep collecting all this gold. And the other thing is the gold does like all these things, so it's like currency, but also like it increases your Bananza meter when you do the transformation stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is also the transformations, it seems like you only use them in like one level, one area of the game, and you never have any motivation to pull them out again in later areas.
Oh.
Or there's no like interesting things where like, okay, you need this ability and then quickly switch this ability and like kind of think on the fly.
Well, yeah, kind of like Kirby, kind of in a way, right? Kirby.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like Kirby 64, you had to combine them with the right amount of powers together, so that way
you could unlock that area or get to a certain thing, the hidden path, and this and that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like maybe there is, but like I said, there's no. I don't feel like I'm getting rewarded for my time for like smashing through this whole fucking mountain and like you found 3 fossils and it's like great. And what am I gonna do with those fossils? You can make them purple. You can give Donkey Kong purple skin, fur, and I'm like, okay.
Well, so like a lot of cosmetics or something like that.
There's like cosmetics and there's like little like clothes that you could equip him and Pauline to like your health, recovery is 20% better, or your certain Bananza skill transformation lasts a little bit longer, which is kind of helpful.
Yeah.
But once again, the game is so easy. Like I feel I forget when I switch out my clothes. So it's just I just like I said, I don't feel like I'm getting rewarded for exploring.
Right.
So I'm just basically not exploring. I'm just kind of going straight critical path in this game to get to the credits and being like, all right, game, I got my $62 worth out of this game? ? So yeah, I wish I was more into it, but I'm just not. If I'm being honest, it's fine. Like it's not terrible, but this is easily it's sad because my first thoughts seeing that game was correct.
Right.
And now my second time where, Pauline, it's going to be more colorful and cute, which he's going to ride with you, and there's going to be more interactions and dialogue. There really isn't. And it's very formulaic. So it's just it feels like a kid's game.
Well, it's hard when, they're trying to make the game kind of like, like I said, very different, because I'm assuming like the kid who does the first console is a Nintendo Switch too, I guess.
Right up their alley. But as a guy who remembers Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong on the Game Boy,
yeah,
it says, like I said, it feels like we've gone backwards. And from my perspective, like I said, I've been in the game a long time, so obviously, different expectations. Right. So, like I said, if you're a young kid, Nintendo Switch, it's perfectly fine. It's good. I would say wait for a sale, but it's a Nintendo game, so there is no sale.
Well, from my experience playing it, I can see the problems you mentioned before about like pretty much you're just kind of like sandboxing your way through the whole game. No, the small area I played, you keep punching to go down, you punch to go up, and then you explore, try to get the bananas, and that's pretty much it. There's not really much creativity other than that.
I guess if you love collectathons, which I kind of do, but I need like something to connect me to finding all 1,000 bananas or whatever the case may be.
Because hopefully it doesn't sound like it's going to be like kind of like ukulele, in which there was like too much things to collect. So like a lot, like you had to collect this to do this.
No, it's not. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I guess, but it's been a long. I've never played that game. It isn't Donkey Kong 64. If that helps. So yeah, that's that. And then the other thing that's, I guess I'll mention a little bit here on the podcast, since it's kind of related to what we do here on the podcast, is I've been doing a little bit of research about potentially taking the giant flight and leap over to Nippon.
So that we can get all our stuff directly from the source.
That's why Miles can get his Umamusume plushies. Anyway, so I've been looking into the details of what it would take to fly from Los Angeles all the way to Tokyo, Japan. It's a lot.
No, do you think?
It's as a person who doesn't fly often, let's say, or do a lot of international traveling in general. There's a reason why we're SoCal's anime podcast and not global anime podcast just yet.
World famous.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can describe it will help us get us closer to there.
Yeah.
But yeah, for some people this might be very obvious, right? But I guess for me, and these things I've heard about, and I've heard stories. I follow YouTubers who live in Japan, stuff like that. So I have a vague idea in my head how Japan is, and blah blah blah. I've been watching anime for a long time, and blah. Yes, I know anime isn't exactly equivalent to real Japanese culture, but a little bit does bleed in. Let's say. Oh my goodness, the subway station out there. Woo! That is some cuckoo nonsense out there. Let me tell you.
Wow, yeah. Well, I mean, I've never Persona 5.
And that's the thing. If I heard the accuracy, because the horror stories of Shinjuku. No, never go to Shinjuku Station. I've lost my cousin at Shinjuku Station, and we haven't seen him in 10 years. So that's what I say. It's stuff like that, and you look, and I've seen the subway system and the different rail stations of this. It's owned by this company. This is owned by that company. And then there's also the other company who does the bullet trains, and sometimes they play nice with each other, sometimes they don't. And to get to here, to B, to A, to C, it's all the craziness, the logistics of it. Woo, can be quite the nightmare. And then, God forbid, you want to go to an amusement park out there in Japan. That's its own set of rules and bullshit.
It's literally on its own island.
Tokyo Disneyland is basically its own little island right there in Tokyo Bay on the east side of town in the Chiba Prefecture, ?
Yeah, prefecture, yeah.
I get confused because it's all Tokyo, but inside Tokyo, you think Los Angeles is crazy with all the names and cities and this and that.
Well, it's just like counties inside. For us, it's equivalent like counties inside the state.
Yeah, I guess, but like it's a little too. It's like every 2 seconds, it's a new one. It's like a competition? How many times can we keep changing the names and confusing people? Of like, now you're like a Shinjuku. You're on Shibuya. Now you're in Shimobashi, and all these like who and a what and Ikebukuro and blah. It's like the place from Durara. The place from Steins Gate. Akihabara.
Yeah.
So it's like oh boy, and like now trying to map it all out. Like okay, this is
right there. Look, there's a time machine right there. It's right over here.
Yeah, there you go. Use the microwave. So yeah, it's I guess it's funny to put geographical locations to names of places you've seen and heard about in different animes and video games, this and that. And now you have I have a better layout in my head of like, okay, if I want to go to Ikebukuro and then afterwards I want to go to the big camera store in Akihabara, I gotta get on the Yamanote line and go all the way around. And then eventually I'll come back across it. And then on my way back, I'll stop by Ginza, get a drink from the bartender series. And blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, where
can I go to Kamurocho? That's a question.
There you go. It's actually not too far also to get from there to
Kamurocho, a place where magical dreams go through. Think about theme parks.
Yeah. For adults, let's say, perhaps. Japan is a fascinating country, let me tell you. And to finally figure out, once again, or really understand the logistics of getting around the town. It's fascinating because, versus, especially out here in LA, right? We're a car nation. Well, it's a car nation.
Car nation? Sorry.
Yeah, pretty much. And we love our freeways and our highways. Roger Rabbit tried to warn us, but we didn't listen. Listen.
Shout out to Roger Rabbit. All 5 people know.
There you go. Once again, aging myself. But yes, so out here you need a car just to get anywhere and do anything. And of course, then you got to find someplace to park the damn car, right?
Yeah.
But in Tokyo in particular, it's all subways and trains. And so you don't need a car, which is a nice thing, especially for us Americans, because they drive on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
We drive on the right side of the road.
No, wow. This is a little into it.
Patriotic out here. But yeah, so it's nice. So you don't have to worry about that, But of course, that means you have to figure out how to get around town. And like I said, then you want to do the touristy stuff because it's your first time, of course. You want to do the touristy stuff, but at the same time, you kind of really don't want to do the touristy stuff because then they're fucking full of tourists, and tourists are the worst. Or they can be, let me tell you. Once again, did I mention I live in the greater Southern California area? So yeah, it's like I said, it's been interesting to, like I said, put names and faces and GPS coordinates to make it all happen. And
then, it actually is a place.
And then, God forbid, you want to get out of Tokyo. It's like,
Just be in a capsule hotel, brother. Just be in a capsule hotel.
There you go. And so when you're a young buck and you're, first time, you're 20-something years old and you're traveling to Japan for your first time and you're just by yourself, you can do stupid shit like that and, your dollar, your yen will stretch very far, right? But as a more senior otaku, let's say.
Senior otaku. That's a phrase for the day.
Indeed. I don't have the time or energy to do that kind of bullshit anymore. So I have to compromise.
Yeah, we don't buy we buy the premium badges here, folks, when we go on cons.
Yes, were you going with this?
Yeah, no.
To cut the lines.
Yeah, we get the super badges.
Yes, definitely get the hotel room because the whole back and forth, assuming you live in your local con, get the discount, pay the money, crash when you're tired of doing that. And that's basically the mindset. I got to think of it's like a nonstop convention, I guess, equivalent. And, obviously Japan's more than just anime goods and games. But obviously for us, there's certain things you just kind of have to do and see.
Like plushies.
Yeah, apparently. This is probably sometime late next year would be my guess if we actually get to go. But I tend to be the logistics man in general when it comes to our travels. So this is quite the task I'm undertaking at the moment.
As he stretched his arms, like going like, all right, I play Fire Emblem, I know this.
Because once again, I've been spoiled living in California, great state, big-ass state, a lot of things to do in this state alone. And, you go to Nevada, Arizona, and all our local neighbors, let's say. But you do it all in a car. Nice and easy. Just load up, put your shit in your car, and you got good tires, good gas, you're good to go, right? Versus, okay, I got to get on the train, I got to get on this train, I got to reconnect to this station, and blah, 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 blah. And like, where do I put my luggage? Sometimes you could take your luggage, sometimes you have to transport your luggage yourself, so... Like I said, it's been an interesting, slightly terrifying experience. And then, like I said, it comes to the flight and travel. You get the cheap-ass flights, and then you get the high-end flights. And, business class is not cheap.
Well, but that hence business class.
I guess so. And you must be doing really good business if you can afford business class tickets.
Soon, one day, brother. One day. I'll be us.
We're going to need a hell of a Patreon fund, I'll tell you that, brother.
Starting next year, we'll subject donations.
So yeah, if you're listening to this podcast and you got any recommendations, by all means, hit me up on Bluesky down below this podcast episode, or the podcast directly also will work.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm trying to. What's the link posted in this episode? It's the podcast link. Send it to the podcast link, or just click that and find me, Sourdough Shonen. You'll let me know. I'm interested in hearing people's recommendations and more. Like I said, both the geeky, nerdy things to do, but also the more only in Japan experiences, right?
Yeah.
So I am quite undertaking that goal right now, but we'll see what happens from between now and, let's say, a yearish and change, perhaps.
We'll have slight updates as we progress.
Indeed. Oh boy, that Ray sure has some interesting thoughts, doesn't he, Commercial Miles?
Well, that's Ray. He always has his hot takes are different from the world.
Yep, he sure does. But you know what, Commercial Miles? What if people are real masochists and just want more pain in their life? Where else could people find the Taku podcast?
Well, you always check our website at www.takuotaku.com or at your favorite podcast listener.
What? Like YouTube, Apple Podcasts, the various podcast catchers out there, and even Spotify?
Oh, yeah, Spotify. Our numbers are really doing very well there.
I love Spotify because I love giving out $10 a month without even thinking about it ever again. Well, thankfully, we don't have to wait a year anymore to talk about Demon Slayer Infinite Castle Part 1 today. Yeah. Infinite Castle.
Yeah.
I want to say Infinity Castle.
What's like Infinity Castle?
Is it Infinity Castle? And I'm looking at it is Infinity Castle. I thought it was Infinite Castle.
Yeah, because the whole Goofy movie, they say, yeah, boy, this sure thing is sure is.
Well, yeah.
Infinity
Castle. Well, I'll be damned. Infinity Castle.
Just like the cash coming from this, so it would be Infinity.
Yeah, sure. Infinity. All right, Walls are going to have to be if we're going to want to take that business class flight. I'll tell you that, brother. All right, so Demon Slayer fans, rejoice. We're finally, after a year since the last season of the TV show aired.
Yeah, we're going to call that. Like we can't afford this anymore. We're going to go to the movies to make more money.
Well, it turns out when the first movie made a ton of money and the TV show isn't making as much money, it's an anime studio. Which direction should we take it? And so far, it has proven to be the right choice because I think in Japan it also did bonkers in the box office.
Well, it beat Spirit Away,
which is when you beat Miyazaki, that's always a good day. And I think even out here in in America, it's also doing pretty well, especially for an anime movie.
It's the number one anime movie of all time right now.
Well, I guess it's doing all right.
Oh, great, no, of course not. No, it's
for an anime movie.
Yes,
there's obviously.
Technically.
That's very good for Ufotable table out there.
Yeah. So they could pay their taxes.
Yeah, they finally have the funds to square up with whoever they owe out there. So yes, this is the climax of the series, for those who aren't unaware. And they were gonna have 3 parts movie. We got the first part out, and today we're gonna be talking about the first movie, and we're gonna get to spoilers. Before we get into spoilers, we're going to talk about just general thoughts about the movie, how we feel about the series, where it's going to go maybe for a little bit. But those who just I want the nitty gritty stuff. We have timestamps. What's again down below? We'll jump to you right to the spoiler talk if that's what you really got to have right now. I get it. But for those who are not too sure, debating to do I sit down and binge watch the series and catch it in the theaters before it gets booted out for the next blockbuster, let's say. We're going to talk about, once again, just general thoughts about Infinity Castle. I'm going to have to write that down. Infinity Castle. So, brother, why don't you get us started? What did you, I guess, any expectations, high hopes for this movie? How are you feeling about it?
Well, as probably the only one that probably read all of it, by sheer coincidence or accident.
Manga? Okay, Brad.
Manga.
Well, it's the only man who's read the actual all adaptations and talked to the
overall. all right. Overall, it did pretty much what like the other ones did. It's a lot of flashy, animation sequences, a lot of a little bit kind of like stretching here and there, but like good stretching, kind of like like expanding upon little ideas they never talked about in the manga, I guess per se. So as I say, it's like during the last scene, there's still the sound guy because like he just disappears off into the wilderness, but you see him actually still be part of the world, even though he can't really fight per se anymore.
Oh yes, the ninja guy.
Yeah, because like he falls like he
doesn't exist.
Yeah, but like they actually took time after like he's still here. He does something. He's
not dead yet.
Yeah. So overall, it's pretty much what I expected. It's a very high spectacle because it's really kind of like Gravity Well Castle because gravity's kind of over the place, but also not.
Mario Galaxy fans rejoice.
Yeah. And a lot of things are happening, and it's gonna you can get lost if you're not paying attention. I think they streamline a little enough that you're not totally lost, but it's like there's this fight going on, there's just multiple fight. Well, everyone's in a fight. It's a massive giant fight.
It's almost like the Shonen series.
Yeah. But it is funny how fast we got to and I'm going to be done with the series. I want to get out of here, says the mangaka.
Well, yeah, because how long did the series run since you read it all, Mr. Know-It-All?
It's like 6 years, 5-6 years.
Okay, so that's relatively short for a pretty big shonen property.
But is it not spoiling too much? The show goes fast. It goes so
but doesn't the original manga also just go as fast? Or you think the show goes faster?
I think the movie right as moment out kind of took pacing wise is doing a little bit better because the manga's kind of going super fast. Well, because they're making 3 movies, so they're gonna slow down, right?
Question mark.
But overall, it's what I expected, I guess. In terms of
good.
quality animation. Fights are being the fight. Some fights take a passing than others.
There's that.
But I think they did a pretty good job.
All right. I guess for me, so Demon Slayer's been an interesting roller coaster ride for me.
Yeah.
Because when it first came out anime-wise, and I think season 1 came out in 2018, 19?
Yeah. Go there.
And I heard it came out, and I heard it was like, ooh, it's the next big Shonen Jump thing. And I went, don't care, basically.
Yeah.
Because I was still kind of running off the highs of Naruto at the time, right? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm good. I just had, I completed my big journey. I was very happy.
Or
overall.
what do you mean, My Hero 2? We're on there or no?
No, My Hero. The first season of My Hero.
Well, I was saying in terms of
yeah, My Hero was, but My Hero. I guess My Hero was probably the one. Back it up a little bit. Really, the hype got started with episode, was it 18, 19?
Yeah.
Where the big climax of season 1 happens. That's when everyone lost their minds, and I just remember seeing my Twitter post being like, oh my god, the best thing ever, Demon Slayer, masterpiece, don't miss it. If you love anime, you gotta what are you doing? Don't miss the show. So goddamn, what happened in this fucking episode? And I know at this time I knew absolutely nothing about the series. And so I was like, okay, sure, I guess this is something worth checking out eventually, right? And it wasn't until maybe 2022, something like that, or maybe 2021, I finally said, all right, what's this Demon Slayer about? And I saw the first season and went, okay, that's a cool scene, but it's also the most by the numbers, fast forward speedrunning Shonen Jump series I've read in a minute.
Well, that's
or watched, let's say.
Yeah.
But when season 2 finally came out, I got skipping the Mugen train. because we saw Mugen Train. We must have saw Mugen Train.
We saw the movie first. Yes.
So we must have saw them. Whenever year that movie came out, that's when we saw season 1 because we must have seen it.
Yeah,
before
we saw the movie, and then the movie they showed the movie yet again before.
Yes, which we just skipped.
Yeah.
Because I did not care for Mugen Train. Also, by the way, I know once again the numbers and craziness, but didn't care for Mugen Train. But it was season 2 of the anime TV show. What do they call it? Entertainment Arc? Not Red District. No, Red Light District. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Yakuza,
Uh-huh.
I got a little bit more into it. Did it do anything really revolutionary or different? No, but it became more of the junk food that I kind of want in an action-packed, silly shonen series. And so that was the season I got more into it. And then season 3
was the Swordman arc.
Yes, which the first part I didn't care for, but like the final situation I liked a lot because I did minus the mist guy, worthless. Hopefully does something more in these movies. But I did like the feeling in that arc in particular because for 1, 2, we got rid of I guess light spoilers for that season. I guess was it Inanosuke?
Yeah.
And Lightning Guy.
Lightning Guy.
They don't exist in really that season arc.
Zenitsu,
yes. They're not there, which is like, oh, thank you. To me, it's like the equivalent of the last part of season 2 of SAO. Kirito's not around. Oh, thank God. So much better when he's not around.
And now we can now the still can go without being broken man over here.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's what I really liked about that season. And the other thing about it I liked a lot is like it really feels like our heroes are really over their head in that situation. I mean, they're over their head and all, but it really feels like, holy crap, we don't know what we're doing. We're grasping at straws, and this guy, what's this guy's a power? It just feels like it's more of a crapshoot versus because season 2 is pretty much here's our enemy, we're gonna fight this enemy. How are we gonna beat this enemy? I don't know, right?
Believe.
Yeah, but it's just more like head-on fight, while the other season's more of a gotta figure out how this guy's stand ability works, right? So I like that kind of feeling you get like in JoJo's series and parts. So yeah, I did like that. And then the last season is just the preamble for the movie, so not really much to talk about there. And we did do a podcast episode if you're interested. We did. So won't go to once again otaku.com, type in Demon Slayer, boom, you'll listen to our pre-thoughts, and you can see all the contradictions I'm probably gonna make between then and now. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, that's my overall feeling about Demon Slayer. Up and down, up and down, up and down. But, you know, I was like, all right, I've invested this much time into it. It's going to be a movie spectacular. Yeah. So let's see this series go out with a bang, hopefully, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a big theater. It was in the super
Yeah,
theater.
We did end up watching in a Dolby Cinema theater, but the movie was not mastered or mixed for Dolby Cinema. So that was...
there's a caveat here. Oh, you need to mix it for said thing.
So that was a little jarring. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't save your money. Unless you have a movie pass thing, and that's the only showing that's available for you, sure, I guess. But there's nothing special about it if you watch it in IMAX or Dolby.
I think I still got to read from my ears from it.
It's stereo mixing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the 7.1 Dolby Atmos, I'll tell you that.
And even I question the picture quality, but that's another
well,
story.
That's a thing anyway. But when it came to final expectations of this particular movie, I feel like I had like very right in the middle of like I wasn't like expecting this thing to blow off my socks because we kind of know what's going to happen, and now it's just time for the big shonen fights to see who's going to become the winner of this big battle royal kind of situation, you could say. And yeah, now that I've seen the first part, it did the job. It's what I expected. I knew there was going to be some big fight, most likely for Tanjiro to overcome in the first movie.
Yeah.
That way there's some, because you got to have something, you got to satisfy the audience, the viewers, with some epicness and big emotional tie-in from, the previous seasons and movies and this and that. And you do get that in this movie as the main overall fight. Big story beat in this movie is the Tanjiro fight. With a couple other things also going around. So, if you come for a little bit of the crazy, wacky, over-the-top, a bunch of fights at once situation.
The sub-fights and then the main the title card, the main card.
Exactly, yeah. The animation, still pretty.
Yeah.
Ufotable knows how to do a hell of a job when it comes to making a spectacle and make the feel like you're jumping from one area to another area because everyone's constantly moving and running and the castle spinning and twisting as you suggested.
The castle's literally alive and breathing, according to what they say.
Yeah, they haven't really got into that, but I guess as the movie progresses, I'm sure we will. Like I said, the audio mixing, maybe a little for a theater experience.
Yeah, well,
but we're out here in the Hollywood land, so we're a little spoiled, let's say.
Well, it also, maybe we should, if we're going to put it in a bigger theater, maybe we should mix the sound for said.
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, that was a little off-putting. Like I said, maybe if you're in a regular theater, it would sound a little bit better, but it was a little off, let's say. But, because Japan tends to mix things always in stereo.
Yeah.
While out here in the West, we try to do surround sound. If you ever look at your like Funimation home releases, you'll notice that. You'll be like, what's the deal with that? So that's something to I have to sometimes deal with when I have to edit footage and make a YouTube video about anime. But yeah, overall, like I said, my expectations were met, and I am kind of still looking forward to the next movies.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's one of those, like, I'm not like, oh boy, but I'm like, all right, when you come along, I'll make note of it. And if we're just doing an anime podcast, I bet you we'll get a couple more clicks if we cover it. So that's a win-win, I guess. But yeah, I think overall my general thoughts was I was entertained enough. I felt like, it was worth the hassle to go watch it. But we've been spoiled because we have the AMC Movie Pass right now.
Yeah.
So that's been able to, cover the cost of that movie. Because, Jesus, theaters, tickets are not cheap.
Yep. If you have seen enough movies you like watch, I would just get the pass because that's probably cheaper than trying to watch each movie separately.
Yeah, pretty much for them, at least in our area, as long as you watch at least one, ideally more like 2 movies a month, he pays for the pass every time. So, a recommendation if you have an AMC theater chain next to you. But yeah, I think that's about our broad spoiler-free talk about the movie. If you already dedicate the time and effort watching Demon Slayer, I think you'll be entertained with this movie. And I don't know if anyone's out there who's like, F this, I've studied this long. If you watch that much of 5 seasons of a TV show and another movie and this and this and that,
well,
you're not going to stop now, are you?
You got to know how the story ends.
You got to see what's going to happen.
There's those like stern stories like it's like Attack on Titan, right? Where like it's 10 billion dragging his butt off for like longest time, but like you've invested so much time in it, you have to finish it now.
Especially on that. Well, that series took a very long time. That was like a decade plus to get the animated story right.
Yeah.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get into now the spoiler part of Demon Slayer Infinity Castle Part 1. So in case you haven't watched it yet, this is the time where you can skip forward on the timestamp down below and hear a little outro what's coming up on the Otaku podcast schedule. So we'll meet you there. But for those who are ready, and you've already saw the movie, and you've come to hear our,
hot takes,
let's say, about it, you come to the right timestamp on this podcast. So, brother, once again, what do you want to tackle, brother? What's on your mind that you gotta get out?
I do like the fact that they keep telling you, hey, this castle's kind of sprawling over the place. It's very infinite how this castle is going.
It's a big ass castle.
But I felt like man, because they were like trying to map it in real time. Was like, man, this thing is huge. It's like it's Infinity Castle. It's like, yes.
Roll credits.
Like I know that's all point.
It's a little too big, if I'm being honest. It was getting a little. I know it's supposed to be like, what an impossible task, but even like the great Greek labyrinth mazes out there, it makes us look put to shame out here, you know. Because it becomes a little comical, I guess. That's the problem. It's like you go from like, oh my god, how's Tanjiro and the gang gonna overcome this? And you're like, how big is this stupid castle? Because they're like you said, they're charting out and they're having maps and they literally have like that whole room dedicated to laying out this infinity castle. And it's just like, god damn.
It is funny because that technically is like not the manga doesn't show that part at all about
right.
No, because there is a couple like.
They imply it. They show.
But no, we're not spending.
There's not really long cuts and shots and.
So
panning.
that's kind of like while we wait for it to fight over here, here's some the B characters, and we're going to this castle is pretty big, isn't it? But overall, like I said, the animation was a photoable animation. Things are sprawling. There are a lot of like swords are clashing around. And, and it's funny to see our group kind of split off to like certain fights, like certain battle areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's over here, they're gonna fight over here, they're gonna fight over here.
Just like your typical Shonen Jump situation.
And so like you're like, okay, so they're paired off here. They're gonna probably face off one of the 6 different moon rank demons. No, that's
They're upper and lower, not
yeah.
12. Upper and lower 6.
Yeah. Yeah, well, some fights like the Tanjiro fight, which is like we said the main title, the main title.
The main,
you know, that's the one to dedicate the most to. You know, but it is weird how certain because in the manga, kind of they always get cut back and forth like you usually do between like the big shonen fights here and there. Like, let's go see what they're doing over here.
Yeah, what's happening over here?
And then like, okay, and then a stalemate or something happens, and you go over here to this fight and see what this fight's doing. Well, here there's only really like 2-3-ish fights really they focused on. And they finish them kind of complete like
they pretty much play them straight for the most part.
Yeah, which is kind of to me it's a little kind of pacing wise kind of a little weird.
It feels like the downside when they always do let's see what's happening on the other fight. It just feels like it goes on and on and on. So it's kind of nice they didn't go to that editing style, let's say. But the downside is it definitely becomes very obvious of who's the real protagonist here, and here's lucky to be here in the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the downside that you definitely feel that, and in particular the first fight in the movie that they focus on. Oof.
Yeah, well, you know.
Here's the thing. For those who we're in spoiler talk, once again, just in case. Last warning.
And that's one final warning.
Final warning. You've been warned multiple times at this point. So this is the fight with Shinobu, who is the poison wielder, I guess.
Insect.
Sorry. Oh, right. How could I forget? Versus popular voice actor against Light Yagami.
Okay. I mean, I think Danzo or Danzo?
Something like that. He's the white hair guy with the red patch who uses fan blades, let's say.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. We really don't have many female characters in this universe. And really the first big fight for the big epic climax, she gets her ass clapped, basically. Ooh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. The only female warrior we've seen, she's the badass and savior in season 1. And when it comes to pushing her up, she's useless. But hey, don't worry. Don't feel too bad, because all these captains are useless.
Well, you know, like I think we need to like set the bar a little higher, like to be a Hirasha. Like,
and I know that guy. He's probably what number is he? Do you know what remember?
He's number 3.
He's number 3. So he's
or upper 3, I should say.
So he's like number 3.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, he's upper 2 because the other guy.
Oh, he's number 1.
Akaza's upper 3.
Yes, because there's the
other fight.
The
Tanjiro fight.
Yes. Okay, I was getting confused because there's the other guy who's teased for later on.
Yeah.
In another movie, let's say. Which you kind of get a little bit more about that character because he's just kind of been in the background hinting of who is this guy and this and that instead of we know this guy's a badass. But yeah, the Shinobu fight, like I said, female character wise, it's not a great look. But I guess to be fair, he's also the author has also killed other male characters too, right?
Yeah.
So fine, you don't want to play the gender card, which fair enough. The thing is though, is when you're just like the fire what do they call him? Hashira, that's what it is. Because I just say captains because they all they all look like Bleach, get up with their uniforms.
Oh yeah.
So the fire guy that dies,
Rengoku.
There you go, thank you. He dies in Mugen Train, and when he dies, you're like, or for me, let's say, I went, oh no, who are you again?
Well, yeah,
it's the Umai guy, not Umai guy. Umai, no.
Yeah, but we said this before. The problem with the series in general is that since the authors really blast this right through, it's hard to have any emotional attachment to characters that
you kill.
Yeah, especially more even if they've been gone for a while and then they come back just to get killed.
And that was literally my point is Shinobi. We haven't seen she's been there, but she's just shows up for a scene, says one thing, and but hasn't had a real impact in the story or any other our main characters pretty much since that season 1 at the end of the climax. And so to bring her back after all this time to basically KO'd, let's say, instantly.
Yeah.
Though I know there's probably going to be a twist with that because if you know her abilities, it's kind of, I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah, well.
But I guess I'm curious to see what things, because here's the thing, and the downside during that fight. For one, it's already, like I said, being a female fighter in a shonen series, the odds are not in your favor.
Yeah.
And two, I went this villain guy is played by one of the most popular voice actors in all of Japan. I wonder if he's going to lose this fight quickly and have only one major scene. I don't think so.
Yeah.
the producer's song came out of me and being like, you're not gonna hire this guy and eat up the scenery just to kill him off in a quick fight. He's gonna have to survive a couple rounds to justify that paycheck.
Yeah, wow.
So that was the other downside. Is like I kind of spoiled the outcome of that fight, despite like I said, I guess it was even spoiled before I thought about that.
In terms of that fight, because I know the manga version, like they cut in and out of that fight, so there's like the breathing room, things like that. But I think because they play it literally straight through, it looks like she doesn't know what she's doing. She kind of like and it kind of loses the momentum of the fight because like she's got she's outclassed already. And
yeah, she doesn't look like a badass.
Yeah.
And these are supposed to be the badasses, but like I said, and that's the thing in general in DMZ, and this is one sometimes I kind of go, I don't know about this series, is if these guys are supposed to be badasses, show me they're badass, right? Because Tanjiro jumps from I'm a nobody in the Demon Slayer core group, and then to like I'm hanging out with the shoulders of the best in all of the country.
And they look up to me now.
Yeah. So that's the thing is like the power level scale can be up and down in this series. And two, the other thing is, and I guess I didn't fully understand that until this fight, because the rule in this universe is to kill a demon, you have to behead them, right?
Yeah.
Also, a bunch of asterisks with that statement from this movie and previous seasons. So there's that. But the thing is, once you think about it and you understand her abilities, and her only ability really is, I guess, poison.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, how did she become a Captain Hashira or whatever if all she could do is poison fools all day?
Wow.
Because I thought the rule is you have to behead people, and if you can't behead people, how did she get as far in her career?
Who knows? Because it's a lot of the problem. They don't really try to explain any of these Hirashira and their abilities, things like that.
Like, I'm the water guy. I'm this guy.
And it's like very luckily, a lot of vague kind of sensitive abilities that for like maybe 1 or 2 minutes that you know of. And so it's very hard to say, well, how does this work? How does this next fight.
Look at this animation though. Woo!
Yeah, look at the blades flying and things like that. Like, but how does this work? No, don't ask.
And that's the thing is, if you try to dive deep into the show, movie, everything in between, there's nothing there. If you're looking for popcorn shonen nonsense, it'll deliver that part.
Yeah.
But as a veteran of the genre, the medium,
senior otaku.
Yes. I'm always hoping for a series to kind of push, the genre, the medium, the art forward. You're not really going to get that in this series. It feels there's still 2 more movies. Maybe something will happen, but after watching, the series and now the first movie, it's just popcorn. It's good popcorn, don't get me wrong, but I want a little bit more, let's say. So yeah, in particular that fight and that character, but you can apply that logic to, like I said, a lot of characters in this universe. This series likes to speedrun its way through. It doesn't want to be One Piece with 1,000 episodes. It doesn't want to be Dragon Ball Z with its 300-something episodes when you combine the series together and this and that. I want to make a quick buck, put my name out there, and I'll be known for one series. And far as I know, is this the only thing the mangaka's known for?
Has he done it? As is one right now, I don't know if he did anything else other than this.
Okay, so that's another thing because some people they come and go, and some people
like a lot of things to do now these days. Now, especially like in terms of Chainsaw Man's author and what's the other one? Jujutsu Kaisen. They do a lot of their before work now, so they do.
Oh right, they go back.
They go back and publish their earlier work first, then make anything new or anything like that.
Right, but that's the Western market.
Yeah, the Western market.
Yeah, because they obviously they could time travel, so they could do that, and that's they're popular. So let's go back to the back catalog, right? And then sadly, even the second fight.
Well, I would say it was like a short intermission.
Yeah, it's very. So here to go back a little bit and kind of tie into also what I was going to lean into with the second fight. The downside is once again once they killed Shinobu, or was his name the fire guy? Rengoku. You don't really know these characters that well, so when they do kill him, you don't really feel much, and they eventually give you a backstory, but they tell you the backstory right before they pull the plug on them.
Well, but that's a common so far we've seen so far. They do it like
right.
Everybody, both sides, like before I go, let me tell you everything.
Yes. But that's what I'm saying. But it's just like just stop doing it. It's a bad shonen trope it's just too much.
Someone watched too much Naruto.
That's the thing is Naruto was like the first one to really put, because Toriyama said there's no back. He's just evil because evil's sake, which. It's funny because I used to complain about like, oh, there's no backstory. He's just a jerk. Oh, that's not interesting. But then you got the Naruto Kishimoto who was just like, well, let me tell you how I became the bad evil shinobi. And it's just like after a while, everyone's got a sad, tragic violin story.
Him too.
And like I said, and at least with Kishimoto, he would tell you the story like in the beginning of the fight, and then you get to it. But like in Demon Slayer, it's literally the end of the fight, and then the exposition done.
As the demon's head's getting cut off, let's go.
You're probably wondering how I got here. It's just like it's too much. Once again, because now that it becomes comical now, but it's not supposed to be comical, but it feels comical because like at this point, who gives a fuck? You know, if you
now I feel sorry for him
because even the lassies or no, the previous the bald old guy,
that demon, right?
That demon guy, they literally do the same thing as like Tanjiro's like, I'm doing the final strike, and it's like, well, that reminds me when I first became bruh, no one cares. Just die. You're not gonna be important to the story anymore. Just die. Do us all a favor and just die, please. Thank you very much. And so that's the problem that you get also in this movie. Which I guess he's consistent.
Wow, yeah, he's consistent.
He's yet to learn to do anything but that. And you get that in that fight, and you also get that with the Zenitsu fight. And that was the thing when we talked, we had our previous last season of Demon Slayer, because like I was like, what happened to Zenitsu? What was in that letter? Because Homeboy got all fucking serious and like, ooh, and I was like, all like, holy shit, is this like some interesting story shit's going to finally happen? Yeah, no, right now.
Wow. I guess it's hard because, like, you know, for the jokey character also now to be really serious, like, to be the serious character now.
It's quite the whiplash.
Yeah.
The problem is all of it comes from exposition dumping. And it's just like, it's just too much. I guess for those who haven't seen the movie yet, but, they don't mind being spoiled, which, wow, you're a unique individual, aren't you?
Yeah.
The setup in that one is just, the letter says that his master committed Senpuku.
Japanese can be a little hard sometimes.
Basically committed the honorable samurai suicide. Because of the falling out between Zenitsu and colleague.
Yeah.
Who are both supposed to inherit the lightning style at some point, but it turns out you find his ex buddy. See, that's the problem. It's like it's so jarring because you find this all out right now in this movie, and it's just like, what? Why can't we didn't even set this up or tease this?
Well, and that.
And so it's just like I can't find myself invested in this situation because like you just found out about this guy. What, Zenitsu had a partner? What, he's supposed to inherit the light? It's just a lot of things you're learning on the spot, and so you just can't feel anything because you're just learning facts.
I still think it's funny though. A side tangent to this. That he's only able to learn he'll learn every single thing. He'll learn multiple forms of the like.
Oh, the other guy.
Yeah, he'll learn every single thing.
But the one he's got.
But the one he has.
And that's how. And I get why the writer did that because it makes sense. Well, he mastered this, and together they become the new master of the light. So I get the idea. It's cute and charming. It's a little hard to believe when you think about it, but I'll go with the feels on that one, right? But yeah, it's just that exposition because you never met this guy. He's never talked about this guy. For that I remember, maybe he did. I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure, to my knowledge, no.
Because Zenitsu, he's just comic relief most of the time, and then the surprise, like, oh, I could do the lightning attack, which will come in handy in this situation, that situation.
It's funny that I just seen him more serious, you see him like crying every 5 minutes, something like that, and in this movie, he's more like, like, well, what's up?
Well, he's got all that. He's got that fucking serious poker ass face going on. Of homeboys out here for blood today. So, like I said, all the story elements is bad to me in that because like it's just too much learning right now on the spot. And guess what? It's all gonna be the climax is happening right now. The beginning, middle, and end of the story is happening in the next 20 minutes. So it's just too much to take in and to be invested to the situation. The coolest thing is I guess he made a new sword style but also the same sword style.
Well, he made another form of the lightning style, which it's hard to grasp because there's no real.
You don't see him learn or learn something new about the style
of all the everything in general. You never see how people learn anything at all. So it's like, oh, cool, he made a new form. I knew there were 10 forms. I didn't do it. I care there's 10 forms.
That's it. Yeah, that's. This show has that problem as well, and not just this movie, but previous seasons. We've talked about it before.
Say more modern show has that problem, which we don't. How does this work? Can I do this? Can I do that? No, it's I just kind of this is my ability, and that's it. There it is.
It's so jarring to me. Also, to go back a little bit in the universe, if that's the thing that always shocked me in season 2 when Tanjiro learned the fire style. It's like, how though? Because the what makes it harder to phantom in your brain is the fact of in season 1 he spent like you saw a couple episodes of him like going to the harsh boot camp lessons from the water style guy, right?
Yeah.
And so you're like, God damn, and Tanjiro got his ass kicked and took him years to study and this and that. And then, how does he go from, taking that long to master that style or
I did
being adept, not even mastering, being adept at it, to like, now I'm the best fire style user of all time without ever training with a fire style user, despite he knows guys who can't train him in the fireway style. So it's just like, like I said, there's going to be nonsense in anime, shonen stuff. But we have to give you a little bit of something to make me go, okay, shrug, and go along with it. Which Dragon Ball Z did, Naruto did, and even Bleach did, right? All these other big shonen. I feel like there was some...
My Hero kind of did. My Hero
did until the later parts, which you don't talk about the later parts. But even My Hero kind of showed you how Deku slowly learned his abilities and what he can and cannot do, right?
Yeah.
When the bar gets this high and Demon Slayer goes back to, Dragon Ball Z, if not even feel like before Dragon Ball Z.
I think we're like year before, or like just on the cusp of Dragon Ball.
When it comes to, once again, the logistics, let's say, of how people level up and the power levels of the universe, it's all over the place. So yeah, sadly that middle fight, it was the only good thing. It's relatively quick. So yeah,
it was nice, quick and rich. You can get popcorn and come back, and you haven't missed a thing.
Yeah, and you just know he's gonna win the fight because he's got to win the fight. So we'll see whatever Zenitsu ends up doing later on, because he's kind of he's shown all his secret attacks, right?
Yeah, well he's resting now.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm sure he'll do something, but I don't think he'll do much. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I've never read the manga. We'll see. Which then I guess leads us to the big the fight we all came for, with Tanjiro versus Tattoo Man.
Akuza.
Oh, yeah. Let's go with that.
Yeah,
you could call him Pikachu, and I would have said, yeah.
It's
sure.
like, yeah.
Shows you how much
investment.
Yeah, I have into the series. It's popcorn entertainment. You just go, it's the guy from the thing, and yeah. So here's the thing that I in my head, I'm sure in the trailer they showed you're gonna fight this guy, or Tanjiro's gonna fight this guy, but in my head I'm thinking as producer, editor of the story, be like, okay, if we're gonna have movie 1, we gotta have a big fight that's gonna entice people to keep watching 2 and 3, right? Because if there's no good main fight in movie 1, people might forget about it and never continue, right?
Yeah.
Unlikely, but it's for the people, let's say on the fence, let's say. So my head is like, okay, then we're definitely gonna fight Tattoo Man because because it's the promise from the Mugen Train. Yeah. Since he flees like a little bitch at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
And so you knew that they're gonna have to face each other eventually and have the big showdown once again.
Yeah.
To continue where we left off from that movie. And sure enough, we got that in this Infinity Castle Part 1. And overall, I think it delivered the goods. And when it comes to that emotional tie-in, I do like that because he pops out, because Tanjiro and the water style user are just running around in Infinity Castle.
Yeah.
And the guy jumps on them, and the classic villain, oh, Tanjiro, I didn't see you coming here. And Tanjiro's just, that's it.
Well, it's funny. It's funny. The emotional growth of Tanjiro throughout this whole series, right? Probably nice, quiet boy, relaxed.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
He's sad about the demons. He's sad about killing demons.
Right.
And then it's in part 4, he's like, no, screw you.
I'm gonna kill all of you.
Because that guy, the little guy running around, and it's like, no, I'll come back here. I'm done.
That is the best. When just no. This is no longer fun anymore.
And then I have Tanjiro here, which is like, no, I don't like you.
I really don't like you. I have a personal grudge. So I do like that. Like, you feel the weight of the emotional tie-in with these two characters finally meeting up ever since Mugen Train, which is now a couple years old. So nice to see it's the appropriate emotional reaction.
He remembers him.
Yes. So it's good to see that, and I felt that scene and that quick exchange of lines. And then I think it was kind of neat to see Tanjiro work with terrible with the names, the water style user.
Yeah, Ginyu. Mad, who's tired, just wants to go home.
And so it was nice to see that in the juxtaposition of the two characters. Like I said, Tanjiro has a big emotional revenge to get that guy, right? And meanwhile, he's just a fighter junkie, and he just, I'll bring it on. I can fight everyone all day, right? And the water style guy, Ginyu's just like, I don't care for talking or fighting, but I'm here to do a job, so please die.
Yeah.
So I do like I said, the juxtaposition of that because not everyone could be the over the top Shonen Jump protagonist. So I did like the chemistry that worked out, and both Tanjiro and Ginyu working together. Just looks like they're gonna be in a bad spot against this guy. They'll come out and bail them out a little bit.
Yeah.
It made me think of season 3 again when they're fighting the big baddie from that season when it feels like they really don't know what they're doing, but they're struggling their best and team working their way to overcome the odds here. So I do like that feeling that came again in this fight. And yeah, I just think it was also neat that in this fight in particular, you finally really get to see, because they always say this all the time in this series. Water style number sword art 7 conjure whatever. It's waterfall of lightning. What some mumble jumble name, right? And they just say it and they do it, right? But there's no there's no logic behind why use that move versus number 6 or 4 or 2 or 1, right? They just say the thing because it sounds cool when you say your attack name in anime, right? But in this fight, you get to see pretty much all the water style moves, and there's a little bit more of understanding. This move is for this situation, and this move is for that situation, right? Because I really feel like we haven't really had that.
They kind of did in season 1. They Tanjiro
I was going to say that.
Vaguely he said, "Oh, there's this situation. I'll use this move and that for the hot."
Yes,
hot.
I was going to say, literally, season 1's the last time you kind of saw that, especially in the climax of that fight where it's the water style, the 10th sword or whatever, the swinging back and forth, right? And that's how he does what he does in there. And so I did like that because, like I said, there's finally some logic behind these nonsensical names and moves. There's a reason to do this and this and that. So that's another little aspect. And it also helps, it's a tight fight. Well, it's a tight fight moving in this Infinity Castle. Yeah. But the fact it's a one-on-one fight and they're doing all these,
Will it be 2-on-1?
Well, yeah, I guess one-on-one, because that's the cool thing, kind of sub out for each other. He needs a break. Okay, you go in there and this and that. Okay, I need a break. You go in for me. So I do, like I said, the practicality in that fight between the three of them duking it out, let's say.
Well, how Star Wars of them? Episode 1?
Oh, episode 1. Yeah, so Darth Maul. Yeah, I guess that would work. Yeah, that would work. And yeah, I guess I'm trying to think of anything else positive, because I know the negative thing to bring up.
I know. You're trying to build. I know you're trying to build your way towards it.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like, I like the movie. I had expectations. It met my expectations. Which I guess brings me to my next point is in that fight, would you like to hear how I became a villain? And this one, I think, broke the records of how long is this guy gonna go on and on and on about his boo-hoo sad story? It's a lot to take. It was honestly
45 minutes.
Really long. Really long. Well,
I think I mentioned it when we were looking at the time for the movie. We're like, wow, that's pretty long for an anime movie. 2 hours.
2.5. This sucker's 2.5 hours long.
Oh, people. And that's because half the movie.
Half the movie is this guy's back fucking story. And I get it, but the problem is, once again, if we're gonna do an emotional tie, you have to slowly build up for it, right? I think if they tease because really his backstory is broken into 2 parts, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like if they told that first part during the first fight in Mugen Train, and then show the second half of his backstory, I think it would have worked a lot better. And it's just such a
yeah, but that's what we mentioned before.
This writer, that's all he knows how to do.
He just dumps it because he has to wait for it. He's cooking it. He's waiting for it. And then when it's done, the plate's cold. The burger's done. No, it's been sitting there for a minute, and then he's like, "Oh, I got it now." Finishes the burger off, and they're done.
Yeah, so that's the crazy thing, especially now as I've become, I guess, more of a One Piece fan. Let's say of seeing Oda's writing of that chapter 20 when Yuffie or whoever said that one line, it's gonna come back and be a big important thing, 1,000 chapters from now, which is kind of bananas too, to be honest. But if I have to choose, I kind of prefer that versus just here's everything all of a sudden, and now this character's dead, so now whatever I just told you kind of doesn't really matter because they're dead. And you get that also in this fight, because guess what? He loses.
Yeah.
Having said that, I can appreciate the emotional weight of it all.
Yeah.
Because this is probably the best of the sob stories to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be. It's fucking 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
But did I get a little tear? I got a little tear. I won't lie, because they're things that I think people can relate to when it comes to the terms of lost, and once you lose somebody, what do you do, and how easy it is to fall to the dark side, right?
Yeah.
Very Star Wars for sure, and that story arc.
I think it reminded me a little bit the
Hmm.
slight tangent about Kenshin's backstory about
Mm.
no slightly for like year like manga's years ago now, but how his backstory was and how that played out for him.
Right, yeah.
That's what it reminded me of a bit, like, and that's why he does what he does because that happened, right?
Yeah. There's actually a lot of Kenshin stuff overall in this movie that I
Yeah.
can't help but think and notice, I guess. Which coincidence or not, shonen tropes be shonen tropes, I suppose.
Yeah, but I guess that like you mentioned before, like there are a lot of Kenshin like reminds me a lot of that the whole those story because it was also a very period piece in a way.
Yes, yeah, same. Feels like that same period in time, and kind of even particularly the Kyoto arc, right? Because Kyoto,
Yeah.
a bunch of fights are happening at the same time, right? And you're kind of learning a little bit more of people's backstories. But the thing is, and here's the difference: that TV shows get away with that kind of storytelling when it comes to dumping exposition, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll learn a little bit this week, and you'll learn about next week. But when it's all right now in the theater, and I'm
Yeah.
here today, and they just did it with the previous fight, and on top of the previous fight before that, it gets a very easy to start rolling your eyes and get dizzy, let's say.
Well, overall, I don't know if there was a benefit for it being a movie or we could have done a TV show, be like 24 episodes, whatever, and get the same kind of more emotional impact.
Yeah.
It's hard because I think, like we mentioned before, about like modern shows is like they tend to kind of like, but isn't this sad though? And it's like, yeah, it's sad, but there's no if I don't know this guy's backstory or character or what he even how he thinks or even whatever,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to care what happens to him or his buddies or anything like that because like, well, he died. Yay,
Well, that's what to me it's like the equivalent of like say you're one of your best friends is going through a tough time, right? And they kind of told you from the beginning, the middle, and the end of they had this bad moment and then the struggles they had to go through and they finally overcame it, right? And like you feel a little bit emotional attached. He's this is a good friend of yours.
Yeah.
You kind of heard the beginning, middle, and end of the story, right? But when you have a good friend of yours tells you that another friend of theirs that you've never met had a bad had a similar experience, it's hard for you to feel emotional attached. It's like, I don't know who this fucking guy is, and I don't know the details of the story. I just heard the very quick synopsis, the summary of the events, which, yeah, that sounds like a terrible, it sounds like a bad thing to go through, right? But it's hard to be emotionally attached, invested, right? So it's the problem we have in previous seasons, and it still pops up in this movie.
Well, it's a continuous issue that I'm surprised that they don't.
Where's the editor?
Like, no, they could adapt, but you always mentioned before, because I know we talked about previous episodes before of like all because it's a property. You have the manga. You can change it to make it fit more for this format.
Yes,
you don't have to do exactly page per page. You can hit the key moments things like that, but you can't. You don't have to just like do it 100% the way how it is because that way you lose. Then what's the point of me watching this and reading the manga? Like I get the same emotional value from it.
Yeah, well, I guess so. The nuances or the details, let's say, about that whole emotional story beat is, like I said, some of it worked, but it's kind of hard when you're having these flashbacks and this very tragic backstory here, and then you cut to what's happening in real time, right? And this dude is walking around like headless for like 30 minutes, and it becomes like comical coming back to seeing a guy walking around with no head. And somehow just like having emotional body language, like it's off-putting. It throws you off. You're like, should I be laughing? It becomes once again, it kind of becomes comical when it's not supposed to be.
Right.
But don't cut back. Like there's no reason to cut back to it. Less is more sometimes, and I think in that sequence, there's too much, and like there's a couple like words and phrases also happens in that fight. Like because the other scene, that part of the fight is when Tanjiro unlocks his Ultra Instinct. Literally all of a sudden, same thing again. Oh, right. This reminds me of that time my dad slaughtered that bear. Very cool, like.
That was funny.
Taught me.
To that one, that was funny because that one like literally did the thing that you didn't like or you don't like when like it's like this will be important for you down the line.
And literally, his father looks at us, the audience. It's like became fucking Assassin's Creed 2 ending, where the father looks in the audience. This will be very important later on. Maybe right now in this movie in the theaters. Go to the bathroom quickly. It's coming.
Yeah.
He almost breaks the fourth wall, and it's so like off-putting. It's so lazy. Of like it's like a Family Guy setup joke. Oh, that reminds me of the time when my father taught me to slaughter a bear. When I cut to, it's just too. It's like I said, it becomes comical once again when it's not supposed to be.
Right.
So it's just little things like that. I just kind of wish someone kind of looked at it and be like, can we rearrange this or do something with it a little bit?
I don't know, but see, with anime, it's always the crux of it, right? It's like, but it's not how the manga is, and people are gonna play it's not like the manga is.
And yeah, that is a problem that a lot of series have. And once again, they're adaptations. They're not supposed to be copy in print, because if it's copy in print, then what's the point of making an anime? The point of the anime is to take the source material, follow it faithfully, and then hopefully add more to it, like give an extra layers into it, right?
Yeah.
But little things like that would just, once again, it kind of took me out of the theater, out of the mood, the scene a little bit. And the funny part is I heard other people snicker in that particular scene. And some guy in the back, trying to hold it in without trying to burst into laughter. And I was doing the same thing. So it's kind of like, okay, thank God. I'm not the only one who my brain read this as funny. Well, it's not supposed to be. Because it's just too serious and almost out of nowhere.
Well, it does happen in the manga, that scene. But, it's not. Tanjiro's dad's not looking straight at you going like, "Yo, this is gonna be for like," it was more subtle. It's like, but it was like he was straight looking at you, and you're going like, it's like Goofy Harry Potter over again.
Oh,
it's like, I just believe it, and I could do it. And
how did you come up with that spell, Harry? Oh, I knew I could do it.
I like the best part when I challenge like, "Oh, that's not how the manga book is on." And I went, "Damn it!"
And that's why I'm also not a big Harry Potter fan. I hate everything apparently. So yeah, there's the transparent world. I feel like we could come up with a better name than that. Maybe it sounds cooler in Japanese, but in English with the subtitles, you're just like,
Yeah.
And also just the Sharingan. So he's got the Sharingan.
Yeah.
Japan and their magic eyeballs. They love the magic eyeballs.
Yeah, that was funny because when he was like in the zone, or like, oh, he's focused.
Yeah, he's locked in. He's locked in now.
Yeah, it's just.
He's putting it. He's straightened up, got the control. He's got the hunch going now. He's ready.
Sasuke's watching the movie, going like, "Oh, I know this. I know what this move is.
I know what's gonna happen next." So yeah, and which is like, I mean, of course it's gonna happen, but I guess you just hope it's not like almost literally Naruto or fucking Dragon Ball Super with Ultra Instinct, but it's like, it sure looks like fucking those two ideas put together. It's fine. It's just fine, I guess. I was hoping for something, like I said, a little bit more different or special, unique. But no, it's pretty much your go-to staples when it comes to, once again, the genre. And the weird part is, like, they kind of tease its backstory, like, very early on in the fight, or, like, pretty early on in the fight.
Yeah.
And it was still, like, another 15 minutes before they actually started doing it from that moment.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, why didn't they start it right then and there? Because they even took a pause in the fight.
Yeah.
Because they had that little exchange of talking about their philosophy. And the guy's like, I don't hate you, Tanjiro. Why would you think I hate you? And this and that. And then you was like, wait a minute, I actually do hate you.
Yeah.
And so I like I said, I feel like that would have been a better time. And I kind of like that, because you see, like, this guy's not all together, right? This guy's like, he's fighting a dead man, right?
Yeah.
Which I kind of like that concept, which I feel like they could have cashed in a little bit more on that early on to tease that. So yeah, like I said, you get the backstory and it all makes sense and it works. But like I said, it could have been, like I said, the pacing, the editing, and the timing of it all probably could have been a little bit better told. But it is what it is, and.
But it's what I expected though from the show, so I'm not.
Well, that's the thing,
and that's
yes,
the crux. At the end of the day,
you knew that was coming.
You had it gets more of the same, for better or for worse.
He's not gonna change his writing style now. I was prepared for these situations, and you get what you get. And yeah, I don't know. Transparent world, sure.
Yeah,
it'll be handy in the next fight, I imagine.
Yeah, when we get there, I forgot what the next fight is actually, but the way how the pacing throws me off a little bit, because this fight, they were mixed a little bit better, so that it was more like, it's weird that both these kind of like semi conclude. Well, one kind of like took a pause,
right,
and this one concluded.
There's only one pause fight of the three fights in this movie.
Yeah,
which I get it, because personally, we're all tempted, or at least I'm tempted, and even we also just that we kind of want, just do all the fights at once. But as a movie goer in the theater, you're gonna be really you're gonna feel like what's the Bakemonogatari prequel story?
Oh, Kizumogatari?
Yeah, the part one. Remember, we went like, that was literally just act one, and we left the theater kind of bitter as fuck.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
In fact, that was bad, because you knew right then and there, we're going to warm up for the fight, but it's not for this.
But that's saying if we don't finish a fight in this movie, then you're going to feel exactly like that. So that's why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I understand why they did it. And personally, I agreed with the decision to finish some fights in this movie because people need to, like I said, they need to feel satisfied. They got that emotional tie-in with the Akaza. So, yeah. I don't know. I feel like those are the major things that came to mind with this particular movie. Anything else we haven't talked to yet, brother?
No, I think we pretty much covered because we did see glimpses of other Hashiras moving around the castle.
They're partnered up.
They're going towards the next fight. It is funny though. Imagine the crows for a second. Oh look, there's a big one right here, guys. Here's a big fight. Let's see all the ball energy.
The live action play. Boom. Tanjiro counter with the left and right.
That was a little much. That was a little like I say it's funny. Or it's not supposed to be funny, but no,
it comes out funny.
It comes out kind of funny because you can make a parody of this, and you can make it more of a joke of anything, and that's sad, I guess. He got him. He got him, folks. They took him out. The snuff went out.
Another one bites the dust. So yeah, let's see. I don't know. I'm interested to see more. I know it's probably I think 2 years from now.
Probably. I'm
not sure if they have an official calendar yet for the other movies.
I'm assuming 2 years because I think where
production takes
where we're going next is going to require more. I know I have a good idea where to stop. I'm not 100% sure.
All right.
Yeah, so I guess that wraps up our talk. I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it was one of those. The sad part is it was like a week ago since we saw the movie, and this is in the theater, and I kind of wanted to write down notes, and you can't really do that in the theater. You don't want to be that guy tapping away on a laptop or something, right? Don't be that guy. For better or for worse, what we got is what I expected, and it's more Demon Slayer. And the anime, like I said, most people came to Demon Slayer for the animation, and it's still gorgeous. So
it does check the box.
Oh man, that was one interesting spoiler discussion these guys just had.
Well, there was a way for everyone to listen to our thoughts throughout the week.
Well, you're just in luck, Commercial Mouth. It just so happens we're on all the major social media networks out there.
Yeah, like there are posts on Bluesky or pictures on Instagram. You find all the things that we do outside the podcast.
Wait. We do things outside the podcast?
Well, it's not like we sit here for 2 weeks until the next podcast.
I do.
Why would you do that?
I don't want to miss out on another episode of Otaku Podcast.
Also, just like the listeners, so let's get back to it.
So yeah, there's our Demon Slayer Infinity Castle Part 1 review.
I like how that's good.
I thought it was Infinity Castle. I'll be damned. You learn something new every day, brother. Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
And what you're about to learn, listeners, is what's coming up on the Otaku schedule. As I think I teased earlier on this episode, we are going to be doing our Anime Summer 2025 review season, which we're going to be talking about 3 hot new shows that will hopefully be done, at least with season 1 of each
I think,
series.
to my knowledge, most of them are done, or at least the ones we're covering, I think, are done.
Just 1 season?
I know that some of them got sequels or second seasons, but most of them are done. There's over right to review, I guess.
Well, yes, that's why we timed it that way, brother. Thank you for confirming. Thank you for...
I'm just making sure in case you find
out.
Yeah,
well, thanks.
In case you forget, audience, that's why I did it for you, too.
Thanks for letting us know that we're going to talk about the reviews after the series have come out.
Wow, riveting. Or listen, my show, which came out a while ago.
Poor Miles must have got hit by the lightning attack or the fire attack, because he also lost his head in that one. Oh.
Doesn't that do does it gotta go fast technique?
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, yes, so summer review is around the corner, so mark that down your calendar. And of course, right behind that is, of course, going to be fall season, which will our regular missing co-host Frank will hopefully be back. Yeah. And all 3 of us then will pick 3 shows, preview from the fall season, and talk about those shows, and each of us will pass the show. And then, of course, at the end of that season, we'll do a full review, just like we're about to do for the summer season. And that is the cycle when it comes to current anime shows right here on the Otaku Podcast. So like and subscribe today. That is on the schedule, of course. So we're going to have other more nerdy, gamer stuff to talk about. Hopefully I'll have finished Donkey Kong Bananza by next episode of the podcast, because I need to get to Persona. Persona 3 Remake has been sitting way too long on my shelf.
Yeah, they're going to wait for Persona 4.
Yeah, that's the sad part. It's been so long that game's probably going to be out in maybe 2 years.
Well, they'll probably come out probably because then like you can't. They announced Persona 3 is like in the like Tokyo Game Show or no, or was it during?
I don't remember, fool.
And I thought it wasn't that long until the game came out, I guess. So it may come out next year.
Yes, let's go with that answer. So yeah, that's my big goal to look forward to. Hopefully, I'll finally get to Persona, and then I got some Halloween stuff, so I'm sure that we'll have some spectacular conversations. Hopefully, it won't be dealing with the anime current season. Hopefully, it'll be maybe. Who knows? Maybe we could, I don't know, cover some horror anime, maybe something of the sort. So I guess we'll find out what happens next time on the Otaku podcast. But before we close out, I have to thank Miles. Thank you, Miles, for watching Infinity Castle Part 1 with me and trying your best to, I don't know, you're trying to...
I'll admit,
you're trying over here.
I admit the poor horsey game. It is kind of running.
He wants to get off this podcast and go right back to the phone, don't you?
No, I'm done for today. I just
keyword there, today.
I don't know. I feel like I'm getting to where you're at, in which like it's like I'm having fun, but am I really having fun? Right? Like
I'm starting to think this is a gotcha game.
Yeah. Cause it's just we'll see what happens next time we're here. There's supposed to be a new story arc next month, they say, or an expansion or something called that, according to the schedule, whatever they come out. People love Dana my lie these games, I guess.
I'm trying to close out this podcast, right?
Yeah, I'm letting you close it.
Oh, thank you. After what is this? You're gonna tell us your backstory too? Also, there's another 40 minutes right here, everyone. Get your popcorn, go to the bathroom. Don't worry, that's gonna be a sad story. Miles tried again for the horse girls, and he still didn't get the one.
So it all happened earlier.
Yeah. So you're probably wondering how I got here. It started when I opened up my wallet.
And I opened it again because I didn't get the pull I wanted.
And with that, I thank you for listening to this podcast episode. This was a something of an episode, let's say, perhaps.
Don't worry, next one's gonna be better. We promise.
Yeah, Frank will be back, and hopefully with that we'll find a rhythm again because we lost it here today. But I swear we'll be better. We'll be better next time. And until then, peoples, we hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.